All right. Well, whenever you're ready, Chris.
I'm just waiting for you to tell me how much you hated this because you can't stand movies about rich people on the Upper East Side.
Now, mind you,
Oh,
okay,
that's not why I
Th-
hate this
hold
movie.
on.
This
Do you
this
want
is the birth of the real Wes Anderson,
do you
is
want me
what
to
this
kick this?
is.
Which is the problem?
There are bits in this film that are very, very funny, and there are bits in this film that are very touching. But yeah, at this point, Wes Anderson is still trying to put his stuff together, and it just
Mhm.
and
You think this is where he's still putting you don't get
No, this is where
it,
No,
he
he, he
has
he's
gone.
figuring it out.
He has
This
gone
is
entirely up his own ass by this
okay,
point.
maybe that's what I'm thinking
well,
about.
this is only his third.
Not
So
entirely.
he did Bottle
Yes,
Rocket,
entirely.
Rushmore, and then this.
Yeah, yeah,
correct.
I really see this as
Those two are nothing like this.
correct,
right.
but they are as well. This is where he's finding his style, and he's almost there. So by the time you get to the one after this is Life Aquatic, I believe.
Correct.
Yeah.
So then those two
That's when he
are
went up his own ass completely.
well, that's when he's really like, I'm almost there, but it really isn't even until the next one, which was after that, Moonrise.
No, the one everybody hates but me,
Train.
Unlimited.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
the Darjeeling.
Darjeeling,
Yeah,
the
that's my
Darjeeling.
least favorite. But through the course of those three, he's finding what he really is going to do forever.
Bottle
What, Chip?
Rocket's a great movie. Rushmore is a good movie, and this movie fucking sucks.
Nah.
And I saw this when it first came out, and I was like, I'm never watching another thing by this motherfucker.
Uh-huh.
And then, unfortunately, I had to watch Fantastic Mr. Fox recently. Thanks, Chris. You
That's me.
asshole.
That's
That
me.
was Scott.
That's me.
Oh,
That's
that
me.
was
That was
That's
Scott.
me.
Scott.
Oh,
That was
well,
Scott.
fuck you too.
Well, the thing is,
Um,
but that's go ahead. Finish your thing. I'm telling you, it proves my point. Keep going.
this this movie is so fucking twee bullshit that I just wanted to set the entire thing on fire the first time I watched it, and I hate it more this time. Like I literally, there there are close to good characters in this movie. I think that early on in the movie, Ben Stiller's character is the most relatable, which is why I'm wearing
Oh, I
this.
said, oh,
Um,
well done. You should have two little ones next to you. Just like
Right. I just don't have children.
You have two mini Tads.
uh-huh.
And the and then I think that Richie and Margot become better characters towards the end. Um, and the the movie itself though is like it's trying to play in like six lanes at the same time, and it's not hitting any of them for me. And watching it again this time, I'm just like, stop with the fucking narration. Show don't tell. Show don't tell.
Uh-huh.
Show don't tell.
Right.
And this
Yeah.
entire movie is just tell,
But it's a style thing.
tell.
It's
Yeah.
a style thing. It's a choice. And I disagree. I don't think this thing is playing in six lanes, or if it is, it's actually defining the lanes. It knows what it wants to be. It knows what he wants to do. Whether you like it or not, that's fucking irrelevant.
I still think it's playing in six
He's
lanes.
driving the car, dude, and he knows where he's fucking going. And one thing I'll
Yeah,
say
where he's
about
going is shit.
one thing I'll say about Wes
That's like
Anderson,
your opinion, man.
I'm always
Sure is.
I was a big, I was the West, I don't know, I was the target audience for some reason, but I just like Chris, I have
Well,
almost
I am.
all of them.
Mhm.
I've always loved this guy, but I want to say two quick things. One, as his films kept going on, I was like, oh God, he's just doing the same thing though, over and over again. Kind of like I almost gave up on Tarantino. I almost gave up on Wes. But the thing is every time Wes makes a new movie, I begrudgingly go see it and then I fucking love it. And I'm like, God damn it. Why? How do you do that? And I think the other thing that I always loved about him was how can he get real emotion out of such a fake plastic sort of
That's the
construct?
trick for me.
And I find that very impressive.
His movies always have a thing where like you get to a point when it's like, yes, it's a diorama movie. I actually think Wes knows that these characters are as buffoonish as some of you guys think these characters are. Like he's in on the joke. But at some point, almost inevitably, there's a moment, and for me in this movie, it's where Ben Stiller looks at Gene and goes, "I've had a really tough year, Dad."
I cry every
That's
single
the
time
fucking,
at
and
that line.
there's a similar scene in every goddamn one of these movies I have in this stack where at some point
That is the line that
he's
makes
like,
me cry in this
without
movie.
warning, I get punched in the face with real
Because then Gene Hackman goes, "I know you have Chazzy," and it's just I'm just
fucking
in
genuine.
tears.
In that moment, it's genuine, and I feel like it's earned, and it
And
makes
also
all the other nonsense or whatever whimsy.
and
like,
also
ties it up for me.
the other part that's like that, which involves narration. So sorry, Tad, but it's fucking brilliant. Is when he stands up, they're kicking him out, and he goes, I love you, or I'm gonna miss all of you, and it goes immediately after saying this, Royal realized that it was true. That's like
He said this
fucking
was the best
amazing.
6
Or
days
best
of
6
my
days of
life.
my life. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
That was
God,
kinda nice.
like that.
Yeah,
Then
that
you
was
hear
good.
Alec Baldwin come in and say that little thing, and you just go, and it just hits you in the heart.
And there's a
Right.
moment in the fucking dog movie where I'm like, I'm not crying, you're crying. Like
Right.
all of them, every goddamn one.
Now, the one thing I kind of got revealed to me, I was talking to my friend David about this of this film, and he points me out very interesting that who co-wrote this film with Wes Anderson?
Owen.
Owen Wilson. When he was doing films with Owen Wilson understands how siblings work because he has several siblings.
Yeah.
Right.
And so the
It's
thing is,
it's his brother's hand with the BB in it.
yeah.
Because that
Exactly, because that actually happened. I know. So
Uh,
the part that involves siblings in this and then how they relate to each
Andrew?
other is, even in this viewing, it felt a little more real than I remembered. It's like it felt emotionally valid and well realized. And thing is, later on, he got Noah Baumbach to work with him for a script.
Noah Baumbach, yeah.
In the case of Moonrise and the one
And-
he's got coming
Yeah,
out
but,
in
you know,
March,
And Roman Coppola and
that
Jason
was
Schwartzman.
That was a huge mistake, if you ask me. You can see that the heart leaving his movies after that, if you ask me. Mr. Fox,
in which film, Jim, Scott?
anything afterwards. Anything afterwards, except for Mr. Fox, which is like,
No.
it was such a faithful reproduction of the book that it
I
kind
know
of,
Jim's a big fan of Moonrise Kingdom, and I think it's a great movie too.
Also, I hate to
watched
say
it
it,
last
but-
night. It's fucking, I love it.
I loved Asteroid City. I thought it was one of the funniest things
Oh,
ever.
me too. I loved it.
Yeah,
I
it was
love
actually really
that
good.
that was torture.
That's the one that got me back in.
Wow,
I'm like,
John,
he
that's what
did it
brought-
again. He did it again.
John, we're opposites in that one. That's funny.
Yeah. That I couldn't connect with anything in that movie. It was just a diorama.
At that
I
point,
thought-
at that point,
It was just cute models.
no, at that point, he actually showed his hands like this is a diorama movie. Just
Well, like the French.
There's a big fake.
But there was nothing to connect. There was nothing to connect. I didn't
Oh,
like
it was
favorite
fun,
movie
man.
that year.
I think I either walked out or stopped watching. Maybe I rented it.
Oh, okay.
Life Aquatic.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
This
God.
one,
I never saw it. So.
This one I hadn't seen since it came out. This is my second viewing. My first time was in the theater, and it remains like one of my favorite with Moonlight Kingdom. And what's the one about the big hotel, the big
Grand Budapest.
Grand Budapest.
That's right,
Which
which
is
I never saw.
great.
Those movies have heart. There is that
Yeah.
like we talked about that moment where somebody says something or these silly these little characters that he's moving around the diorama suddenly say something that was like oh they actually have like beating hearts in them. For me,
That's right.
there's nothing better than the movie because Hackman, god damn it,
Mhm.
he's so good in this and there's
We haven't
nothing
even
better.
talked about how great Gene Hackman is in this movie.
We
Also-
haven't yet,
And also,
that,
Phenomenal.
to me, the best scene in the whole movie is when he and Angelica Houston are walking by the lake, kind of summing up their
Oh,
relationship.
I know.
And I
So
could have
good.
used more of that, quite honestly, in this movie, but that was really good.
But bear in mind, Gene Hackman fought with Wes Anderson a lot on the set.
Did
A
he?
lot, yes.
Oh, I'm
To the
sure.
point
Very
that Bill
content-
Murray would show up on his day off to protect Wes Anderson.
Yeah,
Mhm.
pretty much. It was pretty weird because
Yeah.
he wanted
Wow.
this was one of his this is his last film. He wanted to do something that was kind of interesting and beautiful. And Wes Anderson's just a fucking weirdo, so it didn't work. It's like so.
Wes
he is-
Anderson promised him it would be fun and chill.
Yeah, he would, and it wasn't.
It wasn't fun and chill. Huh?
No.
But he is so good. I mean, this is for an actor who's got so many great movies and performances. This one really does stand out. You watch this, and he is on fire in this.
And
whole
you
thing.
wouldn't, and it's like you wouldn't think of this as a Gene Hackman role, and yet,
No.
It's in almost
He's
every
great.
scene.
but
I
he
know.
can do anything. I mean, look at him in Superman. Come on,
Yeah.
True.
he's great as Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
Angelica
He can
Houston's
and
better
could
in this
do
movie
anything.
than he is.
Also, I know it's like Tarantino. I think Anderson
Houston
has
is
a
very
really good. I get the argument that you put a specific song in the background and it's going to get the audience to feel a certain way.
God damn
Yes,
fucking
I
music
agree.
in this movie.
The Ju-
I agree, but
Fuck.
But
I hate
he's really
I
good
hate
at that
almost
shit.
every song in this movie more than the one before it.
You don't like the jukebox thing, huh?
Oh, I
No,
love it.
it's not the
I love
jukebox
almost
thing. I
all
think the
these needle
songs
drops.
fucking
I love
suck.
every fucking needle drop in this movie.
I know.
okay, so the Nico songs totally fit, but Nico is just, oh God, I don't get it. Why did anybody think that's
I love
good?
the Nico songs in
Why
this
does
movie.
anybody think she's good? I don't get it.
Actually, weirdly, I like the needle drops in Mr. Fox more than this because it was actually kind of pointing towards the Beach Boys, which is like, all right, I can dig that.
The needle drops in Moonrise Kingdom are like all Hank Williams. They're fucking great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But either way, it's like,
Except for the Ya-Ya singer.
I think I'm also saying I will not fault him,
Oh,
but
Francois Hardy.
I got to
Yeah.
sit. I got to sit
Yeah.
real close to the screen and watch this thing. And man, his tribute to Kubrick, just the symmetry, the
I know,
layout
right?
of his
That's
stuff
every
is
movie now,
just.
though.
It's so much fun to watch, especially because then it's like you couldn't do a lot of crazy digital shit. You had to actually do it the real thing. The Panavision 40 is all over this movie.
What year was this?
This was
2001.
2001.
Yeah, so there's a scene where Royal is talking about getting cancer, right? And he shot this all with the Panavision 40, and you can see that the fireplace bends away from you on the sides.
Yeah.
There's a curvature all over this thing. The curvature warms up this film. Yeah,
'Cause it's
yeah,
less
thank you.
geometric.
Yeah, horn me. Go ahead, honk.
I don't have it's not here.
You really need
House.
the aspect ratio and
No, the
You're
way
in the
he
wrong
approached
department,
it though is actually kind of like he knew what lenses to
Can I
use
squeeze
to
the
really
dog?
kind of bring
Yeah.
the characters forward in the background to
You
kind
should
of
wear one of
develop
those
you.
words around you.
and Scott, it also breaks the geometry a little bit.
Bandolier.
It's not just parallel lines. I was thinking of Ozu, and it's like that scene that I singled out with them walking along the lake. That's a diagonal.
Yeah, exactly. It's there's a lot of that in there.
Yeah, it's like a
well crafted in that.
And the cast is so stacked here. You almost wouldn't think like you have to see what he'd achieved after Rushmore. All these people wanted to work with him. I mean, Gwyneth Paltrow is a huge star at this moment, but she does very little in this because her character is not enormous. You know, she was just like, I just want to be in this fucking movie. She just won Best Actress at the fucking Oscars.
She's a presence in it. I mean, she's intentionally low key because of her character.
Right? But it's just cool to see all these people be like, I want to be in this movie.
Yeah,
right. That's true.
Yeah, I really enjoy this movie partly because of the cast. It's just fun to watch all these people.
I'll tell you, I've got a level of OCD that's probably from being a production artist for a bazillion years. That when I go see his movies, and every time the scene changes, it's like my eye shoots to every corner, centered, and I can relax for the next 15 seconds. the Isle of Dogs, like, is perfectly, like, anal retentively framed in a way that makes me extremely happy, which is, again, we all have directors where we go, this is like literally this guy is like playing right to everything that I like. This is one of those guys.
But Chris is
every one of his movies I like, if not love. I even like the train movie. So
yeah. Well, Chris, this film is a lot like going into a museum, like a gallery, and looking at one painting, then the next painting, and going, I
think it's kind of fun.
I think
it's kind of
the
fun.
Book
to
covers
find,
are great in this, by the way.
It's fun to find actors who really fit well into Wes's world. When it came out, one of my least favorites was the Darjeeling. It's not a terrible movie. It just wasn't.
I've learned to like it. It
was not my favorite.
It's the least. It's probably lesser. It's lesser.
But you know who? But within 5 seconds, Adrian Brody fit so well into this world.
Because Adrian Brody's a doll that you can move around in a space for dolls.
I think there's certain actors that go into a Wes Anderson film and they just really shine. They understand the world. It's kind of like I liken it to, you know how all these actors essentially pretty much played Woody Allen in his movies later. They were just doing their impression of Woody Allen. It's kind of like that thing.
Kenneth Branagh.
Which is why the only good late
Jesse
Woody
Eisenberg,
the only good later Woody Allen movie is Bullets Over Broadway.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
That's a good one. I still argue that the Owen Wilson brought something of heart into this film that is lacking in later films.
Was it?
I think you might be right.
Yeah, but that's
it. I don't know. I
did like who
co-wrote
Moonlight Kingdom?
Best.
Moonlight, that might have been Roman Coppola did
Yeah, I
one. No,
think
that
so,
was the
but
Darjeeling. That was the Darjeeling one.
yeah, but either way, that's like
And Schwartzman.
because I think that when Anderson tends to go to formal, if like
Wes did this on his own.
yeah,
Did
so
Darjeeling on it, Budapest on his own.
okay, good enough.
okay.
Well,
But
either
who
way,
did someone write Moonrise Kingdom with
That's
him?
him and Roman Coppola.
Yeah,
no,
that's what I thought. Roman.
He's got, I just checked this morning, he's got a brand new one coming out in May. It's some kind of spy thriller, totally stacked,
Yeah.
ScarJo, etc. And Roman Coppola co-wrote that one.
oh boy, the ever talented Coppola kids.
I look forward to not enjoying that and
I look forward to seeing it over the
in 8 months
Thank
when
you,
Chris
thank you,
picks
Ted.
it.
I'll look forward to
Listen,
ignoring
I
that one
picked this
myself.
knowing that half you guys were going to hate it, but because I think it's just a good sit it next to as a Gene movie, sitting it next to Crimson Tide. I thought was a nice contrast.
It is. It's a good good double bill for Gene Hackman tribute week.
That is actually it's kind of
And sort of the second half of his career.
right.
Jim, back us up.
Yeah, I know that people dislike what's his name,
Wes Anderson.
but I've ever since Rushmore, I
Wes
never
Anderson
did see
Cooper.
Bottle Rocket. I've just been in love with it. I love
Wow.
sort of abstract, twee strangeness, and I think we need more movies like it rather than MCU.
Well, think about it. Like, who
There you go.
This
I
guy
like that.
carved off a thing that is his thing. He gets A-list talent to sign up for it over and over and over again. The movies get produced, they get made, they're usually successful. And he's like, who left?
And he must have sold his soul, because he's the only filmmaker that every single film gets a Criterion release right away.
Pretty much.
No,
You know
he
what?
literally sold his soul to Criterion.
I
Yeah,
find
to
you-
Criterion. That's
No,
what
no,
I mean.
not drugs. No,
In
wait,
his
Isle of
contract.
Dogs. Isle of Dogs. The last 3 are still not available yet.
You know
Oh
what?
shit!
I suspect
Just a matter of time.
I suspect he works cheap. He can get these people because
I
actually
think he probably brings things
he can
in
pull- he can-
on
he can-
budget.
he can
Yeah.
pull, he
Yeah,
can
on
pull
time,
deals.
on
It's like,
budget.
this is not a big budget film, so we can get this done. And
Right.
so he gets good talent in there to work at scale or above or scale plus.
Yeah, his
Tom
movies probably
Hanks
make
is the
money
next
because
one,
they don't
too.
cost much.
Yeah, they're just enjoying the experience of making a Wes Anderson movie. Like George Clooney, in Mr. Fox. There was 2 months of the whole cast going out in Vermont and recording all their lines in a
Yeah.
farmhouse. It's
I
like,
love that scene behind Chris. What characters?
It's a
My
big-
little
it's a
kids
big-
in
Well, I'll tell
animal
you.
costume.
So my dad was at times fucking Tenenbaum. Like, he Tenenbaum me more than once. I remember.
oh
like,
shit!
When I was in band and I would send him my CD, he didn't even know how not to be fucking Royal Tenenbaum, because I would get notes back that were like all negative.
Oh!
Nothing fucking positive about anything. All I could just point out was all the shit that was bad about what we had done. It's like, fuck, man. Could you like just be 5% encouragement?
God damn!
How bad was the shit that you were doing?
It was terrible. But I mean, you couldn't lie to me.
But there's
even
a
little bit.
a dad thing when you say, you know what, I like the way that the recording was actually pretty decent.
Could have
Or
said
like
something. Tell me the drums were great. Instead, it was like
yeah, exactly. Oh my
kids
god!
running around in costumes.
Oh
Yeah.
my god!
I don't know. The characters
No,
weren't very believable.
They were very
Chris,
believable.
Chris, I would call that a very revealing sentence. You think you just told me why you like Wes Anderson so much?
Well,
Right. That's
Also,
also every Wes Anderson movie is working through your problems.
Well,
with
did
your
you ever-
Yes,
dad.
exactly right.
You mentioned
Exactly
Noah
right.
Baumbach.
Therapy.
All right,
Watch
this
Squid and the
is
Whale.
the clip.
Squid and the Whale is another one where I'm just like, God fucking, I live this shit, man.
Baumbach.
yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love
Baumbach
that movie.
again.
Love that movie.
I just want to point out that one of my favorite directors early in his career, less so since then, is David Fincher. And
Oh, yeah.
David Fincher has as much care with his dioramas as Wes Anderson has, but what he does with them is just cover them in filth and then cut the lighting by 80%.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I built the whole house, the Gluttony house,
Right.
from the beginning of Seven, and you can see 10% of it,
Yeah.
and every place your eye lands on in that is horror.
Yeah.
Like, it is a mini horror movie through the course of going through that house.
For sure.
When
It's-
when you watch Panic Room he literally flies through the floors and the walls
hmm
in that movie.
Yeah, I used to not
And
like Panic Room, and I watched it a couple months ago, and man, it's great.
I
Panic Room
watched
is
it.
great.
Watched it 3 weeks ago. It's fantastic.
Yeah,
and
but I was on.
that is, but the thing is I really enjoy the fact that he builds those dioramas and then goes, we're going to live in this space the way people would actually live in this space. And this movie feels like we're filming a documentary about the diorama. Like, it has nothing to do so much with the characters or the actors or anything else. It feels so much about the space that he built, up to and including the god awful opening credits of this, which is the characters staring into the middle distance with the camera facing them, and it has actor's name
I love that.
playing
Yeah,
I love that.
character's
I love
name
that. It's like an old
I
school.
love
over
it.
and over
In
and over.
Futurable.
In 2001, when I saw this opening weekend, it was like, what the fuck is happening? I love
Hold
it.
on, hold on. Let me encapsulate what Tad is. He has a cinematic theory he just gave to the world right now, which is David Fincher is the anti-Wes Anderson. They both do tableaux. But he was.
He's not anymore.
No, but the thing is, at the time, they both make tableaus. They both make these little puzzle box movies. But one is what Anderson is. Listen, everything is fun. Everything here is
everything is clean,
it's clean and nice and wonderful and
beautiful and well lit.
And then Fincher is saying everything is shit. Everything is bad.
Is shit. Everything is shit, and the corners of this society is where your darkest fears are.
Yes.
And
I remember
in these movies,
Venn diagram, you can just like, whoa. Yeah,
I remember a review when Seven came out. A review said everything's too dark except when it's too bright, and then you're seeing it through a dirty windshield.
Oh, that's a good point.
Right, which is perfect because that's how life actually works.
All right, well, hold on. We're rolling off the thing. Anybody else?
Yeah, I guess I just enjoy whimsy more than horror.
I enjoy.
You know what? That's not unreasonable.
I don't find anything about this.
That is not unreasonable.
Sorry. The person who picked Come and See is sitting here and telling me that you enjoy whimsy more than horror.
That felt more short on
really.
Jim, you also picked
Who
Jacques
can forget the
Tati.
whimsical classic Come and See?
Right.
Jim, you also picked Playtime, right?
Hugging a baby
No, I picked
outside of a
Playtime.
burning
I
bush.
picked that. I picked that.
Whimsy.
Okay, sorry.
All right.
Like, I like whimsy
Still,
when
that's
it's
a
well art
masterpiece.
direction.
Yeah, I mean, I realize that the real world is closer to Come and See than it is to Mr.
Yeah.
Fox or Movie.
And maybe that's the escape you need.
Yeah.
You know what? There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and
there's nothing wrong with
the
that.
escape that he needs is Royal Tenenbaums, and yet he makes us watch A Woman in Berlin.
All right, this is definitely the end. Okay, I think we
I
should.
thank y'all for playing. I love this movie. I love all of it.
All right.
Oh yeah,
All right.
I'm
Oh,
huge,
no,
huge.
one quick thing.
I was
Wait.
here.
I love when the Indian, the day.
Hold on, Tad, go ahead.
Royal.
One quick
more
thing.
time.
Yeah, what was that about? Just sticks the penknife in him.
Yeah.
It was a little.
For old time's
God
sake.
damn it! That's the last time
Yeah.
you stabbed me, or you
I
put a
know,
knife in me.
which is a
And then he
great
closes,
reaction.
the gate on his grave.
Yeah.
But
Also,
Good, yeah, that's a great ending, by the way.
Pagoda's the best.
the one thing that I thought was very funny in this movie is how at two different points they call out how Mordecai has different feathers
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
the
they had to
bird
use
was
two different
fucking-
birds.
The bird was fucking kidnapped while this movie was being made, and
Oh.
they couldn't figure out how to deal with the ransom in time to continue shooting.
Oh,
So
no.
they just got a different falcon
I knew
and
it.
then wrote into the script
Yes.
that like
Well, that's a good
I
solution.
Yeah,
Come on,
and
Zach.
the bird had flown away, so it's like maybe he went through some trauma.
Yeah.
right, and you know when people go through trauma, sometimes
Their hair turns white.
Yeah, exactly. It makes sense. You know.
Yeah, it was.
I didn't even know.
I didn't know about the kidnapping,
This is-
but I knew they were covering for the fact that they
I
were
didn't even
using a
notice. I was
different
like,
bird.
a Boyd is a Boyd. I didn't really notice that.
I fell in love with it. Like Rushmore was like such a favorite of mine. And
for
then this
me.
came out, and I was like, he's just getting better. It's amazing. So yeah, I love this.
Good picks, Chris.
Like I said, I was here, and then I watched it again and watched what I think the contributions of about relationships were, and I went to here. That's the thing. That's
Okay.
what I meant.
Okay.
Take it.
Yeah.
All right. Mixed opinions on this one.